welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. Alongside me is Rudy Gutierrez and Robert Alexander. What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
What's up? What's up?
First thing we want to talk about right away, I'm probably coming to Rudy about this one because I feel a strong opinion coming on it. Andre Ward is apparently seriously considering retiring instead of taking on his fight with Sergey Kovalev in the rematch.
It's look, the win. Okay, let's just say that. Okay, Andre Ward won. It wasn't a dominating win. It wasn't a very convincing win. So, and even so for anyone to say, "Oh, there's no rematch," there's no need for a rematch, is like ridiculous. I mean, so many boxing experts out there. They're all on different sides of this fight. Some saw Kovalev win. Some saw Andre Ward win. Regardless, even if Kovalev would have won, a rematch is a must because the fight, left a lot of ifs. You know what I mean? And for Ward to completely deny that he was shocked and surprised that he won the fight, even though he claims that he was an absolute victor and all of that. I mean, it sucks for Kovalev because there should be a rematch. There should be a rematch, but obviously, if he's now gearing towards retirement, I mean, there's nothing that can be done. I mean, this kind of sort of reminds me of the whole Mayweather De La Hoya situation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot about you, Rudy, but to me, I mean, that basically says like, hey, he won. I mean, why not do a rematch? I mean, you made money. It was good.
Exactly, and
Got a lot of publicity too. Why not fight again? Obviously, it was too close. You think you might have lost, and you don't want to do it.
I mean, I would have understand if the fight would have been like Mayweather Canelo, where there was obviously it was obviously a one-sided fight, but you had a crazy ass judge that saw it a draw or saw it as a victory for someone else, for the other guy. I would understand like there's not a need for a rematch because the entire boxing world saw what happened. But the boxing world is one day they'll say, "Oh, Kovalev won," and then the next day they'll watch the fight. Oh, I think maybe Ward won by 2 points, and then they'll watch it another day. It's like, oh no, maybe Kovalev did win by 3 points. You know what I mean? It was a tough fight to judge. Some of those rounds were pretty difficult to score, and okay, he got the victory, but it wasn't a clear victory. It wasn't a dominating victory. It wasn't something where you could, go back on your and say,
Started cutting out there, Rudy. But Rob, I mean, even you, a big pro Ward guy, has to admit this seems like a cheap way out.
And here's the thing, though, and I agree with you. It doesn't make sense because it was so close. So Kovalev wins that fight by unanimous decision. Then Ward immediately wants a rematch. And you know this. Ward is going to be screaming for the rematch. So I'm hoping that it's really to help sway maybe maybe things to go his way on this side of the promotion because correct me if I'm wrong, but if I believe right, I think Kovalev came out ahead in the last negotiations. So hopefully it's just a negotiating plea, but for him to say, I'm going to retire rather than face Kovalev again, where does that put him at for his legacy? You know, there's too many other fighters out there that he still needs to face, and he still needs to continue to win if he wants to be the best of all time.
And that's the funny thing. He said, "Oh, it's not for money anymore. It's for the challenge stuff like that." No, it's exactly the opposite. It is mean, this is coming from the guy who sat out for how many years to come out from underneath his promoter?
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah, it has to be. So that's what I'm hoping it is, though, because you can't say I'd rather retire than face the man again. I can agree with him if he doesn't want an immediate rematch. He wants to try to bolster and get the most money he can to try to get another 1 to 2 fights. But I
It's an immediate rematch clause.
yeah, but at this point he's talking about not fighting the guy altogether.
Why let him go and then decide later on? Oh, you fight another fight and then you want to retire? No, you fight me or you don't fight at all. That's what a hard position I would play with it if I was Kovalev. I think that's what they're doing right now. It's like, hey, you ain't fighting nobody. We'll wait for you if you want to decide, but you need to make up your mind. And from the sound of it, Ward keeps saying, I got some serious choices to make in the next couple of months. Do you guys actually believe he will retire? It's kind of
No,
both of you. I want to answer.
Rudy.
Well, see, this is why I'm saying that this kind of reminds me of the whole Mayweather De La Hoya situation back when they fought. I mean, obviously De La Hoya at that time was the biggest name in boxing. He was obviously the one that demanded his way, and De La Hoya always got his way, even with contracts, everything. And that was one of the main highlighted things on that contract was if I lose, no buts about, a rematch is it's a done deal. And what did Mayweather do? Fuck it, I'm retiring. I retire. You know what I mean? And this kind of sort of reminds me of that situation. I mean, I personally can see Ward retiring and then maybe coming back a year or two talking about, I got an epiphany or whatever, and I'm deciding to come back. It's my destiny to make a comeback and dominate, the way I did as a super middleweight. I totally see it. But, I mean, I'm hoping it's all just talk to get, publicity and to, A sides and B sides start arguing and Team Kovalev, Team Ward fans and everything just to hype up the fight a little bit more. Because in all honesty, even though that was a fight that a lot of boxing fans really wanted to see, the promotion behind that fight was fucking ridiculous. And there wasn't any promotion. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Hopefully, I just want to see the rematch, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very sad promotion period from Rock Nation. They don't do much. They like tweeted out like, "Hey, there's a fight." That's as much as they're doing. I don't even know if they do that. To be honest, they might not even do that. Um, but hell, I mean, all it takes is like, you know, Jay to show up, say something real quick and leave. That's gonna do a lot. Can't even do that.
Well, if he's taking like the Mayweather route here, which is what I was kind of thinking, you kind of want Kovalev to get a little bit softened up before you step in the ring with him again. So you want to try to force him into a couple of fights. Hopefully, it's a couple of tough fights, thinking that he's not going to get Ward again. So he goes up and gets a couple of tough opponents that maybe softens him up a little bit. So you ensure yourself the next time you're going to win and be able to dominate. But I mean, that can go either way too. He should actually really truthfully have learned from that loss and fight even better his next time out. Fight even better his next 2 times out. And then you have that Mayweather issue where you don't want to fight him again until he's almost out the game. That's a strategic move that Mayweather would use. To me, Mayweather had the ability to do that because he still was able to market a fight regardless of who he fought. Ward can't do that. Ward's not the major marketer here in this type of environment. He's just not. His fights don't aren't that much entertaining.
I mean, I agree. He's kind of the Mayweather effect. I mean, he is one of the top in boxing right now. Just doesn't do a lot.
I mean, it goes to show, like I said, I believe Kovalev got the majority of the purse that last fight, and he deserved it though. He was a champion. He owns all those belts. This time, I agree. If Ward came out and said it's an issue with the purse, I want the lion's share of the money. I want my terms. I want my agreements, everything like that. Then I can agree with him if it's all for that because he's now the champion. The judges called it for him.
Champion doesn't
But
matter. You know that. Champion doesn't matter. Is what's the bigger draw? To be honest, I'm not sure who the bigger draw is. I mean, Kovalev doesn't have
both
the,
of them,
the biggest following.
both of them,
So it's hard to say
yeah,
which Ward is
it's
going
going
to
to take both. Sorry, no, it takes both of them to market this fight. It takes both of them, and that's why it really doesn't make sense to call it out unless he's trying to use the Mayweather effect, where he's trying to get a couple of people in there to kind of maybe soften the blow for when he tries to fight him again. But that's just gonna, draw out his legacy, really.
I mean, I hope that all it is because it was a good fight. I want to see the rematch, but with Puff's retirement, it's starting to scare me that we're not going to see that fight. Jules is joining us now. Jules, do you think that second fight's going to happen, or are we going to see Ward back out?
I'm glad I came into this as soon as you were talking about it because I was speaking about it last Saturday. Honestly, I think this talk is just there. You know what I mean? Kovalev and his team to really make a better offer financially. I think, in my opinion, I really don't see Andre Ward retiring, especially after so many people saying that he lost the first fight. And personally, I think honestly, the second fight, because of the controversy, does no more numbers, and I think he will get the price that he's looking for in terms of financially. So I don't think he retires. I don't think he goes out that way. I think he's just using it for leverage, and I think we'll see it sometime. If not 2017, definitely 2018. They can't wait too long because I feel like it'll have an expiration date.
Do you think Ward's a bigger draw than Koval?
Oh God, that's a huge question.
It's
I don't.
just
I'll be
that's
honest
what
with
they were just
you.
debating,
Like,
and to be honest, at first thought, I'm like Ward's a bigger draw, and then I'm like, I don't know.
I think he's the bigger draw, in Oakland. You know what I mean? But it's like, I mean, you have
Yeah.
to understand. I mean, look at the pay-per-view buys that they did. What did it? 160,000, 100 and right, but around that range. So it's not. It wasn't like both these guys showed that they both had a huge drawing power. You know what I mean? I mean, 160,000 pay-per-view buys is quite low.
Yeah, which draws me to another question: would the rematch even be it?
It has to be pay per view. It has to. I don't see it not being pay per view. If Cotto can get Kirkland for 10 million and on a pay per view card, that card definitely will be pay per view.
I mean, that depends. I mean, you can throw some ad revenue money, some serious ad revenue money, and put it on like local TV. I don't know. They might end up making more if they
I
do
mean,
that
and
than what they would on pay-per-view. Go ahead, Rudy.
to be fair though, no, I was gonna say just to be fair in regards to this fight and how you guys were talking about who's the bigger draw, whatever. A lot of people do during this fight. They seem, at least through my perspective, it seemed that everyone was pointing the finger at Ward. Oh, well, you have a very low following and blah blah blah. But in all honesty, and like I was saying, to be fair to both parties, main event doesn't do a great promotional job for Kovalev as well. The way at least how K2 promotions did with Triple G, and you know as far as anything outside of HBO, you really don't hear Kovalev. You know what I mean? So it's both parties that are not, they're not doing themselves any favors. I mean, I would have imagined a fight of that magnitude, because of what we know, what both guys could do in the ring. I would have imagined this fight being, on billboards everywhere and commercials here and there, with all the marketing skills that Jay Z and all his people have. Like I could have just seen Andre Ward on like every freaking commercial on television, whatever, and not one thing. You know what I mean? So it's both sides, So whether if the rematch ever does happen, if it's going to be pay per view, I mean, I kind of agree with Rob. It has to be pay per view because if you don't put it as a pay per view fight, then you're pretty much downgrading that fight. You know what I mean? And you're saying like, okay, well, it was a mistake to first put it as a pay per view. We have a rematch. Yeah, everyone wants to watch it, but let's put it on HBO. It'll be kind of a slap to both guys' faces. So if it does happen, I do see it as a pay per view event.
I see your point there. And after the first fight, it being close, maybe it'll actually draw more this time. I think it would, but it's hard to say how much. I mean, that fan that match speaks to mainly hardcore boxing fans, not those common guys.
All right.
But you know what? To jump in here, last point, Rudy, you made a phenomenal point about the marketing of the fight. I mean, I've never seen a fight against two undefeated pound for pound fighters have virtually no marketing whatsoever. I mean, it was a terrible job, you know what I mean, for main events and for Right Nation Sports. I mean, you really didn't see marketing for the fight maybe till maybe 2 3 weeks, before the event. And I mean, you had boxing fans who literally like, oh my God, Ward and Kovalev are fighting in a couple of weeks. And I think the second time around, I think they will, understand that they're going to have to market the fight as much as possible, have controversy sell, and you know what I mean, get these guys on ESPN. Stephen A. Smith seems to be, really jumping on the boxing bandwagon, and I could see them trying to market that. Max Kellerman is on ESPN now, so I think that they got to do a better job, and they should market it more for the second time around.
And I would hope
Yeah,
they would. I mean, Kelly Duba and main events usually do a pretty good job. I mean, look what they've done with both. Um, and the main event shows that they used to have on Saturday night on like NBC, which got bought up by Alan Hayden after time slots did, which he also bought Fight Night, Friday Night Fights. I'm kind of missing the low blue collar events. I mean, don't you guys? I'm missing those. Those
I miss it.
ESPN Friday Night Fights. I miss those, man.
God,
And
you have no idea how much I miss Friday Night Fights, Luke. Oh my God.
it it sucks. It took away like half the year. Like they ran until what from January to like October, and now we're lucky to even get a PBC on ESPN at all. When we do, it's usually not even up to par as a Friday night fight event. But the Saturday night main events coming up with Kelly Duva, I mean, Kovalev built his name off of that, knocking guys out on that. And they did a phenomenal job bringing him up. They added Curtis Stevens on it and brought him up, and then able to get him a big fight with Golovkin. Usually, Kelly Duba does a pretty good job at marketing her fighter. Um, Now, she usually doesn't get the huge billboard type fights like this, and maybe she didn't know what to do. But other than that, I mean, Ja has no
the
explanation for why not to be
the
on.
problem
Go
the
ahead.
problem is as far as marketing goes with Rock Nation, Jay Z is using his media outlet through Title. That's what the problem is. The fight is, I believe it was even, well, tickets were on sale through Title. Um, he has streamed live fights. I believe the two fights when he made, well, at least one fight when he made the comeback that was aired on BET was aired live streamed through Title. I believe one other fight was streamed through Title.
Nobody
So
streams it.
that's
They don't know it's there though. That's the problem.
That's what the issue is. Exactly. Jay Z is been known that Jay Z has lost millions and I'm talking about like $50 million or something like that on title, because there's Spotify, Pandora. There's too many services out there like that. They don't want to pay Jay-Z that type of money for exclusive content, and that's where he's trying to build up that brand. So he markets Ward and even Kodo through title.
And yeah, I mean, without you, I probably wouldn't even know what title is. So, but I really hope that it is just talk. I mean, they just building a little bit of hype up to this fight. But let's kind of move on towards this weekend's fight. First Friday night, we're gonna have Arslan Lara facing Foreman. I know you guys were a little excited for that fight. I want to know how you guys are seeing it going. I'm gonna come to Rudy on this one first. Who do you like, Rudy?
I mean, there's no doubt that like his style or not, I mean, there's no doubt that Lara is an awesome fighter in the ring. Very smart. Uh, he studies his opponents very well. Um, the dude is able to adapt to whatever style their opponents are bringing, and let's just let's be real. His skills are at another level, and I see this fight either a late round stoppage or a unanimous decision victory for Lara. I mean, Lara's Lara. The only fighter that ever did put him in trouble was Angulo. Um, but that's just because Angulo, at that moment, at that time, he just applied that relentless pressure, and then add the punching power that Angulo carried, put Lara on his ass twice, if I remember correctly. But the guy, used his brain, used his skills, adapted to the fight, and we all saw what he did to Angulo. Busted his eye, and that was it. So I totally see Lara dominating this fight. I'm going on women say it's gonna be a lopsided fight.
I mean, that's not really a limb. I would say that's pretty accurate. I mean, I haven't really seen Lara struggle with somebody like Gary Foreman. I mean, look how he handled Canelo. I mean, I think that was either a draw, possibly even a Lara win, depending how you look at it. In a very close fight, um, and I don't think Gary Foreman can handle that kind of skill. At least not anymore. If he ever could. I see it the same way, just kind of a one-sided fight. I don't think he's gonna stop him or anything. Just a clear unanimous decision, practically a shutout. Um, Robin, Jules, take it away.
Well, one thing about Yuri Foreman is we saw what happened, and I know this is several fights back, but we saw what happened with when he fought Cotto. He broke his, or he almost broke his leg because he couldn't handle the movement of Miguel Cotto. And we know Lara's going to move and move well all night. So I hope Lara stops him though, because I'm tired of seeing him in these type of fights. I want to see him against the Canelos. I would love to see that as a rematch, because to me that wasn't a definitive win enough for Canelo. I would love to see him in there against Miguel Cotto. That would be a dream matchup right there. Um, but Lara is the Rodney Dangerfield of boxing. He don't get no respect. He just don't get no. He doesn't get any respect, man. And he's a champion. I believe he's a champion right now. And he's been able to take these guys to school. My thing with Angulo is Angulo applied pressure, but one thing Angulo did that he hasn't done since was cut off the ring, and that's why he was able to get to Lara. Lara popped him in the eye, and that eye was ugly after that. And Angulo never could cut off the ring after that. So that's going to show you, how good and how talented Lara is. So I really hope he scores a knockout.
You really hope, but do you think he's going to score
He should. He should. Honestly, To me, in my opinion, Lars elite fighter. Nobody else sees it because he's a Rodney Dangerfield. He don't. Nobody gives him respect.
Jules, I assume you're going to side also with Laura.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, Luke. That's why I stayed so quiet. I felt like, you know what I mean. There was no, Rob and Rudy. You guys really summed it up nicely. I mean, Yuri Foreman. I think his biggest win was what Jesus Soto Carras, and that was what 2005. You know what I mean? Like that. That's his biggest win on his resume, and he just a guy like Lara, as you guys said, so skilled, so talented. We saw what he really did to Canelo. I mean, in terms of really showing how, obviously we saw that with Floyd, but we also saw that with Lara too, where, Canelo has a lot of problems with cutting off the ring against movers and against boxers. And I think, Lara is just going to be just too much for your Foreman. And I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to say that Lara actually knocks him out because Lara probably feels the same way Rob does. He doesn't get any respect. You know what I mean? Even after he got robbed against Paul Williams, and I love Paul Williams. You know what I mean? He was one of my favorite welterweights. I always wanted to see Floyd versus Paul Williams, but Paul Williams, he lost that fight. You know what I mean? He didn't win that fight. And Lara has since tried to get that respect, and I think he's going to try to go out and get that respect from Foreman. So I have Lara going for KO.
So we're all in agreement on that one. Gervonta Davis, Jose Pedraza. That's your boy there, Rob. First chance at the title. You think he comes forward?
Absolutely. Floyd's not going to market him as the next Floyd for no reason. And Floyd has a ton of, well, I won't say that because I know you guys don't think his stable is talent at all. But Floyd has a lot of talent in that stable. And so for him to come out and say that this is the next Floyd Mayweather, and the kid's got phenomenal power at that weight. He has excellent power. He can get you out of there with one shot, and you won't even see it coming. This kid does have a lot to prove, though. He has a lot to show. He's a little bit rusty in some areas. The last fight I saw him in, he should have got the guy out of there quicker. It is a learning process and a learning curve. The most thing that I thought was interesting in the last fight I saw with Gervonta Davis was Floyd was in the stands practically coaching him from the stands, even though he has a head trainer in the corner. And he was listening as you see the fight. Gervonta Davis was actually listening to instructions from Floyd from the crowd. So I really wish Floyd would take more of a hands-on approach with this kid because I think he actually responds better to Floyd than the actual instruction he's getting in the corner, and that's kind of bumping heads and making things confusing as well. Hopefully they had a good camp. I really don't see Peraza. He's a good fighter, but I just don't see him giving this kid enough problems to not say Gervonta is going to win this fight. This is going to be a make or break fight, and I think he's actually going to make and show out. I have him winning by knockout. Enough said.
I mean, I definitely think he's going to win. He's going to bully him around. I don't know if he's going to knock him out. I mean, this is a different step up for Gervonta Davis. And you're right, he does lack in a lot of areas, defense being one of them. He gets a little too wild at times. I think he can be outboxed, but not at the drop. I think the drop is not going to be able to handle him. Mainly win on points. But Rudy Jules, any opposite minds?
You know
You
what?
know,
Go
now
first,
go,
bro.
go ahead, Rudy. You go first. You go first, because I'm still weighing my head around it. So go ahead.
All right. Now I what I've seen from Davis. I mean, he kind of, I can say in a way, kind of reminds me of Porter stylistically. Uh, um, However, I feel that Davis is a lot more stronger, and he does have boxing skills. He's a young guy. Obviously, he's not a perfect fighter right now. His skills are still developing. He's still learning. But I think Floyd right there has a diamond in the rough. You know what I mean? And David, he for me right now the biggest prospect is him and Spence. Those two dudes, man, I think they're gonna be big in sport of boxing. Obviously, they gotta work with them well. They gotta keep level headed. Don't follow the Broner lifestyle. You know what I mean? But those guys are if they're well taken care of, they're gonna do crazy things in boxing. And I think with this fight with Pedraza, honestly I think Davis is just gonna murder the guy, man. That's my opinion.
I gotta step in here, man. I don't know. I mean, listen, a lot of people are sleeping on, Pedraza. Pedraza has, wins over Edna Cherry and, Tevin Farmer. You know what I mean? So he showed that, when it comes to, guys who can box and things of that nature, that, he's a tough guy. You know what I mean? And I don't think he's going to lay down. I mean, my mind is telling me Gervonta Davis, because one thing I like about Gervonta is that, he's got the hand speed, but he also goes there with really vicious intentions. He really goes in there to knock his opponent out. But a guy like Pedraza, who has, in my opinion, is really a veteran, right? Because I mean, he's got what, 22 wins. Obviously he's a champ, and I think that he's got to be careful. You know what I mean? Gervonta's got to be careful, because if he keeps getting hit and he gets sloppy, he may get he may get tagged. So I mean, my mind's saying Gervonta, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pedraza pulls off the upset. I mean, the guy's a good fighter.
And Rob also wanted to touch on something you said about Mayweather having more of a hands on. Well, I would love to see Mayweather actually take control of his corner and actually train. You know what I mean? I'd have a lot more respect for it, especially if he's training. That would be amazing. I hope he does that, but something tells me it's not worth it.
I mean, you have the kids responding to him. Everything he was saying from the crowd, Gervonta picked up on, and he actually came out there. Honestly, that's how he got the knockout in that fight, because he was listening to what Floyd was telling him, and Floyd told him it's there, and he used it. As soon as he used it, boom, magic happened. So yeah, I would love to see Floyd take control of that corner, because the kids responded to him well.
Nothing like being hands on with your company. All right, guys. Badu Jack versus James DeGale. This fight, man, not going to be a pretty one. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe this is crazy. I think DeGale knocks him out. I think he knocks him out pretty quick. Same within 5 rounds. Badu Jack has, I mean, he's gotten knocked out by lesser competition. Struggled against really falling off.
You talking about Lucien Bute?
Yeah, Bute.
Mm-hmm.
Bute was not the monster he used to be. I mean, that guy was a body punching machine until he met Carl Froch. Carl Froch kind of ruined that guy. Never kind of right after that. I mean, Bute was pretty much done when he fought him, and he still couldn't do anything. I don't think Badu Jack's gonna last for long in this fight. You guys take it.
Rudy Jules, I'm going last on this one. I gotta go last on this one.
You guys go last?
Yeah, I gotta go last on this one.
I mean, I'm gonna go first. I have to. I got to go with you, Lucas. I think the smart money is on DeGale, but it's kind of hard, because I mean they pretty much have the same opponents in common. You know what I mean? It's funny how you said that, because I know that DeGale he has the win over Lucien Bute. But he also has the loss to George Groves, who Badu Jack beat. Obviously, it was a very controversial loss. A lot of people said that it could have gone either way. But a lot of people said George Groves did enough to win that fight. So in my opinion, to me, it depends on which James DeGale shows up. If it's the James DeGale who, looked phenomenal against, Rogelio Medina. I mean, he looked really good that night. You know what I mean? I see it being easy work. But if he looks, sketchy, you know what I mean, and looks hesitant, Badu Jack is a guy who, he can hit. And, you never know. But if I was to say who's going to win the fight, I got to go with DeGale. I think DeGale wins. I don't think he stops Jack, though, Luke. I got to give it maybe a 12-round unanimous decision. But my money's on DeGale.
Rudy?
Uh, you know, Gale's a great fighter. Badu Jack, I mean, Mayweather and the whole, TNT, or was it Mayweather promotion, they were riding on him as being this, phenomenal boxer, whatever, and we saw him get knocked out once in the first round. Um, I got, when you sit back and you think about it, I mean, DeGale, I think is the most finesse fighter between the both of them, the most experienced fighter, and I just think I agree. I think it's going to be a unanimous decision for DeGale. I mean, there's a part of me wants to say, Badu Jack can pull up the upset because, in my opinion, if Jack wins, it will be an upset. But no, I totally see DeGale getting a unanimous decision of this.
I mean, it's all about how they look lately. I think, for the most part, Miguel has looked a lot better lately. Badu Jack, especially with the draw. That was one of the worst fights I think I've ever seen. And
Yeah, but that was pretty bad. Look, you're right. That was actually, yeah, it was cringeworthy. I expected better. It wasn't a good fight at all.
I mean, it was to the point I was almost handing the controller to my wife and like, "You're on a romantic comedy." But Rob, go ahead. I know you're waiting for that.
You know what? Say what you want, but I like Badu Jack. I actually like the way he's looked recently. And period. I'm just gonna go on a rant here. I hate James DeGale. He's garbage to me. I can't stand the guy. I think he's a garbage fighter. I think he's a garbage fighter. I think he's not for real. I think he took advantage of a situation when he beat Durrell. I think he took advantage of Durrell in that situation. I don't think Durrell was really prepared as he should be in that fight. And I think with the opponents that he's fought coming up, he really hasn't looked that good in my opinion. He hasn't impressed me at all. I haven't seen nothing from this kid that tells me that he's an elite fighter. I think Badu Jack has performed great as of late. I think he's done really well. He's changed something in his game, and I think he's well prepared and he's ready for this fight. And I think he takes James DeGale out. It'd probably be a surprise to DeGale and everybody else, but hey, this guy is a garbage pail kid.
Everybody else is right, considering George Groves, he split decision. Even Durrell, he won the majority decision. And majority draw with Butte. And you're telling me he's fought better as of late?
I believe he did. I believe he stepped up in those fights. He's looked really well.
Didn't put you to sleep. Honestly, I think DeGale would have got rid of Butte.
Well, no, I mean,
Okay.
listen, he took Butte to school. You know what I mean? I mean, what was it? It was 12 round, yeah, it's a decision, yeah. But he took Butte to school, and I mean,
Butte even looked better. I mean, he looked better.
yeah,
Than DeGale.
And that being said, everybody's giving Butte a couple more fights because of that performance in that fight against James DeGale. So they actually thought that Butte did look good and gave it a good gave it his best effort. So they were willing to give him more fights off of the strength of his performance in that fight. Look, James DeGale to me is not for real. You're going to see it in this fight. Mark my word. I do Jack is going to be able to catch him and hurt him. He won't drop him. He won't knock him out because he just doesn't have that tenacity in him. But he's gonna win on points. He's gonna be able to beat this kid and expose him as the fraud that he is.
I think you're covering your microphone for a little bit muffled there. Gonna go ahead and move on to something I want to get everybody's opinion on before we stop this. Soulja Boy versus Chris Brown. I really don't want to give this crap attention. However, after getting called a dumbass on Facebook, I added it to the. I gave the guy some credit and even added him onto an article. So I didn't put his name out there. I'm not going to do that. Like that's out. But come on, guys. I mean, for this to be pay per view, is this not like a blatant spit in the face of all the fighters that work hard to get to that point?
Is this real?
Yeah, it's real. I thought it was a joke.
How real?
I'm wrong. It's real. It's going to happen. Mike Tyson is actually training Chris Brown, and let me tell you, Chris Brown doesn't need it. I've seen training videos. Why? Because they're posted all over social media. Trust me, I'm not looking for them. But Chris Brown is very, fluent. He's a dancer, so he's got some coordination to him. Soulja Boy's all robotic. He gonna get knocked out. I mean, if I had to bet $1 million, and I had it, I would bet every single penny that Soulja Boy loses. I don't care who trains. But the fact that this is even happening, go back to my original question: is it not an embarrassment? That's what I said on social media, and then it became people attacking me apparently, saying that at least they're not shooting each other, you dumbass, or something like that.
Right. I mean,
Why's it got to be one extreme though? Like, why can't you just? We're not beefing. Why do I have?
they
Why you got to shoot each other or make a pay per view event? Like that's stupid.
they both have money and already. So they're talking about the proceeds for this fight is all going to charity. So it's not like they're jumping in there to do it for
You
or
spelled
money.
wait. Spell it. That's bullshit. I ain't going to no charity.
They already
I
look.
ain't going
Chris
to no
Brown
charity, man.
is Grammy. Chris
I'm
Brown, Soulja Boy as well. Grammy nominated artist. They're not doing this for the money.
Have you seen Chris Brown lately? He looks like he's been smoking crack.
He has been smoking crack. Now I'll give you
He looks like
that.
he ain't on the pay per view, man. That's like he's keeping that money. Look, the fact that we're even talking about this again, is it not a blatant spit in the face of fighters?
Well,
You're
let me
not
say
even
this.
going somewhere else.
Let me say this. I definitely agree with you, Lucas, on the fact that Soldier Boy is in trouble. Did y'all see Rihanna? Did y'all see what the boy did to Rihanna?
I'm not gonna touch that one, man.
Yeah, not gonna. Man, I've seen the pictures. Man, she looked like she got hit by Mike Tyson. So yeah, Chris Brown has some nice hands. So Soldier Boy is in trouble. But
The one thing I did like out of this, Mike Tyson's training, and he kind of called out Mayweather, the other trainer who's training Soldier Boy, and
Mayweather killed Tyson right now. Tyson would have a heart attack trying to chase him around the ring.
let's not go to that. Let's not do that again. We're not going to talk about Mayweather
I'm
versus.
talking about right now, though.
I know.
You know, Tyson can't do
Okay,
nothing to him
let's
right
not
now.
let's not talk about that. I mean,
Yeah, let's not go there. What?
no. This is a dark hole, Jules, that that we have
I know.
created, and we're not going to touch it. Okay, we're not touching it.
I know, because Rob, I took the bait. Rob. You got me. Because once I heard Mayweather Tyson, I took the bait.
He's trolling. He's trolling us
Think
right now.
Tyson's old ass can beat Mayweather
Come on,
right
no, no,
now?
no, 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 trolling. No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. However, he called him out saying that he ain't going to teach him how to run. He's going to teach him all the ways to knock his ass out. I like these fucking shits, Mayweather. That at least built some hype around it for me. However, I'm not going to pay for it. I'll wait and see later on that night on Facebook of Chris Brown not going to happen. But man, people.
Hey, you know what?
Clarissa Shields actually tweeted that too. Like it's a mockery. It is. It's a mockery of our sport. They basically just put it up on a pedestal for two idiots to fight each other, making money. And even one of our other writers did make a good point, saying, "Hey, boxing's lacking in popularity, and maybe you can use this as like a kickstart for people who don't know." My thing is like if it's not a pay-per-view event, then it might draw some people. Other than that, you're just getting Soulja Boy fans and Chris Brown fans wanting to see the two fight. You're not really necessarily getting anybody into boxing. I don't.
So, so you never were a fan of celebrity boxing when they had that series out?
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
Rob, but it wasn't on pay per view. You know what I
true.
mean?
That is
Even
true.
even
But
if you had
Shaq
the
versus
celebrity
Oscar De
boxing
La
start.
Hoya, that was comical. But come on, go ahead, Jules. I'm sorry.
No, Luke. I mean, I was just elaborating. Like, listen, celebrity boxing, that's fine, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be honest with you. As a massive boxing fan, I can give a shit about Chris Brown versus Soulja Boy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care. But at the same time, you made a good point, Luke. You got fighters. You know what I mean? I mean, look at Joe Smith. Look at what we just talked about Joe Smith, the guy who, you know what I mean? He works a blue collar job. You know what I mean? Had two upset wins of the year. You know what I mean? And this guy is working a freaking construction job to get on pay per view. You know what I mean? For guys like that who are trying to make it to that stage, it is kind of like saying, like, okay, well, you know what? I can't get on pay per view, but because these guys are famous singers, they can, be on pay per view. Like, what is that?
Right, and Mayweather might as well tell his own fighters that. Mayweather's willing to promote and put a pay-per-view together for people that just are famous. Where's Badu Jack and all that? Where's Gervonta Davis and all that? Are you gonna put the same money and attention into them? I don't think he will. I don't think he has. I've seen more about Soulja Boy from Mayweather than I've seen about TMNT or the rest of his damn team this whole time. And sorry, Jules, but this is the way we talk sometimes about TMT. So this might also be why you don't get credentials. This could be a reason we get declined. I'm just saying.
Rudy still can't believe it's happening.
What's my true opinion behind this?
Go for it.
Silence. Nothing, man. Nothing. Moving on.
All right. All right. Let's kind of close out the show here. What's the most anticipated fight for you guys this year? Kind of go around the loop here. Rob, your most anticipated fight for this year so far? That's actually a done deal, not speculated. Done deal.
Well, for me, it's the big boys, Joshua versus Klitschko. Man, I'm so pumped and excited for this fight. I wish I was going to London. It's going to be a great fight. You're possibly going to see a changing of so to speak. So it's really big for not just the heavyweight division, it's big for the sport, period. The crowd is going to be in a frenzy. It's probably going to be a split crowd, possibly. So, I'm ready for the big boys. That's what I want to see, top notch.
That is a passing of the torch type fight. I don't think it'll be a split crowd. I think it's going to be mainly UK, but maybe I'm wrong. Rudy.
I got two fights that I'm very excited for. I'm excited for the Brandon Rios Victor Ortiz fight. Nah, just kidding.
I'm kind of excited for that. I'm not saying it's like my most excitement. I think it's going to be a good fight. It's a grudge match, you got to like those. And they
Ortiz, Ortiz,
certain
Ortiz,
styles.
Ortiz is gonna quit as soon as he jumps in that ring. Dude, he's gonna like collapse and call it a day. But nah, the thing is though, the two fights that I'm looking forward to, that I'm excited. It's for Thurman Garcia and Jacobs Triple G. Those are the two fights that I'm looking for. The already done deal. Just waiting for that day to hit.
Really, really good fights, both of those. And like I said, I mean, the ones we've already mentioned are probably better than all of what happened in 2016. Um, but yeah, Ortiz, if he had a heart, man, he'd be something else. He could be. Jules?
Oh my gosh, that's tough, man. You guys really named all three of the fights that I want to see. Triple G versus Jacobs. That's definitely an anticipated fight. But you know what, Rob, I got to go with you, brother. Joshua versus Klitschko. I mean, I can't wait to see that fight because it's like the heavyweights, man, does not get the attention that it should, and it really irritates the hell out of me, actually. Because we talk about the lower weights, and granted, we're gonna get great fights, but I feel like the heavyweight division, once again, I've always said it: when you're the heavyweight champion, you will always consider the baddest man on the planet. And right now we're seeing Anthony Joshua, the return of Deontay Wilder. We're seeing the heavyweights be alive again, and I think Joshua Klitschko, that's going to be the step in terms of seeing the heavyweight division finally unified. So I'm gonna have to say Klitschko versus Joshua. That's my most anticipated fight this year.
Yeah, they haven't been getting the attention that they deserve. But it's been dead for so long. I think people are just now starting to finally wake up. Wait, heavyweights are exciting again? Um, my worry is that they'll all fight each other too soon, and then what are we going to be left with? We only get
And and
we. It
and
sounds
Luke
like they're coming back, but in reality, once you have Wilder versus Joshua after the winner of, I assume, which is going to be Joshua Klitschko, then what? If Tyson Fury comes back, that's okay. Then you have another one to throw in the mix. But
yeah, Luis Ortiz.
Yeah, you listen. I'm also listen. I know you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, man, but I like Joseph Parker. Do I think he's the most skilled heavyweight? No, but he has a lot of heart, and he comes to fight. I don't know if you guys saw his fight against Andy Ruiz, but that was actually one of the most entertaining heavyweight fights I've seen in a long time. And I like him. I like him in the mix. I mean, do I see him the unified champ? No, but he's a name to throw in there. So.
yeah, it'll make for an entertaining knockout, I think. Yeah, I mean, as far as like the more elite top 4 or 5 guys there, yeah, it's definitely going to be exciting. I mean, for the first few 4 times that these guys get in the ring together, you can mix and match those and create yourself another few years of some entertainment. So hopefully it lasts. But me, although I don't like the fact it's pay per view, the return, Toto Kirkland.
Coder Kirk. I knew he was gonna say it. I
Yeah,
knew
I
it.
said the same thing. I said, I know Luke is going to say Coda Kirkland. I knew it.
I had to go Toto Kirkland. One, Wolf's back. If Wolf wasn't back, I wouldn't even be for it without Wolf. He's a completely different fighter. You guys know that. So it makes it a completely interesting fight. Technically, I'm looking at it right now. Kirkland going in undefeated. Wolf, he is undefeated. Only 2 losses when he did not have her in the corner. Um, and I've seen well before 2 months of the fight, he's already sweat his ass off and working out. So I have no doubt in my mind this dude's going to be in shape, going to be ready. So and Kirkland is in ready and in shape. Honestly, he could beat anybody. Batman Majama. My only thing is hopefully he can make the 153 weight. At 154, last time he actually met it, he looked like death. So hopefully he's not super drained and then just get to that bit. But regardless, it's all exciting fights. I just wish it wasn't pay per view. And I'm sure it will not be promoted at all, considering it's Rough Nation. But I think that about wraps it up. So for Robert Alexander, Rudy Gutierrez, Jules, and myself, this was Tough Talk Tuesday. Join us again next week.